So game one underway here. You have to forgive me, as I am currently still trying to get my computer to cooperate. It works fine up until the point where we start broadcasting, and then it just gets super choppy. So apologies there, but this is another Friday Night Magic tournament from Lost Legion Games and Comics. In South Charleston, West Virginia, we're already underway. Can't get the titles to work, so it's going to be a relatively wonderful evening. If we're starting off like this, it can only go... I guess it can only get better. On the left, we've got Brandon Gibbs. He's playing Mono Red Devotion, and on the right is Scotty Wright, who's playing Esper Control. So two decks that we are familiar with, two players we're familiar with. Yeah, we're actually able to get it back up and running before they started, but it's still being horrible.
It's better than it was, and he still can't do titles.
We do see
got half the title. Sorry.
red green Skylands on Gibbs' side, so gotta be careful for Dominies and Gore Player Invaders.
I mean, he's playing like a mono red. He's not playing that deck that Alec always plays, which is like the red green devotion. It's just it's like mono red devotion with just.
I think he's playing it just because it's a Scryland that happens to play.
Well, can the Ash Zealot deck afford to come into play tap land?
First turn, absolutely.
On the first turn.
Every subsequent turn.
On the fifth turn, yes.
So there's
the first turn and fifth turn, but between 2 and 4, no, you really don't want tap land.
So we've seen the Zora's Charm take care of the Ash Zealot last turn. Not the best target for it as it just comes down. 2 turns later, tap and attacking. Brandon did take a turn off that. He's played Preferos, which got attention feared. And now he's going to face down his Elspeth.
And now Brandon loses.
Normally, for a creature-based red deck, like Elspeth is very good, but of course with the reach of Fanatic, this game's still dangerous for Scotty.
Well, his devotion right now is only 2, so Fanatic would only be for 3.
Yeah, I mean, there's a point at which the Elspeth comes down where you can still close the game out. There's enough reach in this devotion deck, but at 14 life, it's going to be very difficult for Brandon to fight through all those soldier tokens. It's going to need to involve Chandra's Phoenixes, and then at least multiple copies of Fanatic. And there's one, so that'll bolt Scotty, and you can't afford to go after the Elspeth either.
Really?
No, you're not going to win this game if you try and shock the Elspeth.
Next turn, you're going to be facing down 6 tokens.
And there's a very good chance that Scotty just, once it dies, he just replays another Elspeth.
Well, that is a threat, yes.
Plus, Scotty is tapped out now, which guarantees that this actually resolves. There's no guarantee that anything beyond here will resolve anyway. And there's nothing worse than sinking. You're already 2 for 1-ing yourself, trying to kill the Planeswalker, and then if the second half is guaranteed to actually resolve. Scotty untaps with 6 mana Scries with a Temple of Silence. We see the dissolve in his hand. So,
unfortunately, the Fanatic is not likely to attack because its 2 toughness means it just gets double blocked with tokens.
Yeah, the attacking on the ground portion of this game is basically over. The Ash Zealot is just on Abyss duty here, and it gets answered with a D-Sphere. So Brandon has no attacks.
Well, it only takes 2 to block the Fanatic, and it takes 4 to block the Ash Zealot, so that was obviously...
That was the better play.
Provides 2 red devotion.
Yeah, that was the obvious target, because like I said, the Fanatic isn't likely to attack anytime soon.
Yeah, and though it's very unlikely, with the green splash, there's a chance that, in sideboarded games at least, Destructive Revelry makes an appearance, at which point...
Ooh, we do have to watch out for Flesh and Blood. He could blood the...
What does Blood do?
The blood part of it
does damage.
Does damage equal to its power to target creature.
Oh.
So the Fanatic serves in, gets double blocked.
He could also have Toil and Trouble in the sideboard. That's pretty good against control.
Is that the sudden impact card?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's pretty good. But yeah, Destructive Revelry on on a D-sphere that's hiding a fanatic is usually going to end out very poorly for the person who played the D-sphere.
And now Scotty's in a position where he can play Jace, take it up, and lift Resolve. With an Elspeth on 7. Threatening 18 damage next turn. Jason just going to immediately go down. I think he just given that Thoughtseize. Like, I think the Thoughtseize is your share. Right now, no, the other card is Azorius Charm.
Yeah.
So that was definitely the right pal. Because Azorius Charm does have the hidden mode of lifelink.
Yeah.
Yeah, Thoughtseize there is something that Scotty's probably just never going to cast.
Yeah, so we've got to go... we basically have to nug Elspeth at some point here. The game is over. Scotty can't kill him exactly. He's only got 18 power on board, but Brandon's not going to be able to beat this board state and that emblem.
Is it 7 for Elspeth's emblem?
Yes.
I thought it was 8. Okay.
So there's a Chanter's Phoenix, which if I'm Scotty, I just dissolve, right?
Yeah, you don't like using cards like Azorius Charm on Ash Shell or Dissolve on Chandra's Phoenix, but...
does he have 3 open?
Yeah.
Yeah, he has a Temple of Silence.
2 blue, black temples, and the Temple of Silence.
Okay.
So,
There's a variety of things.
That's what you got to do in this matchup. So if he lets it resolve...
Well, I guess there's nothing that Scotty can really... And there's also nothing he can really do because I forgot to take into account that the Boros Reckoner damage can get redirected to Elspeth, so that's going to take 1 no matter what.
That's true. So for letting this through, probably just Azorius trying to Boros Reckoner.
We're still assuming he's attacking Scotty, right? Not Elspeth?
At this point, you have to attack Elspeth.
Oh, to keep him from getting the counter and just swing.
Yeah. If Elspeth was on 6, I think you attack Scotty, but...
You could send a flyer at Elspeth and a ground creature at Scotty, but that doesn't really get you anywhere.
Interesting. So there's one of the drawbacks of not having live audio from the feature match area. Looks like Brandon decided to go after Jace, and Scotty obliged to let him die. Here, Thoughtseize, which will take the Fanatic and...
What was the other card?
Save him 4 life. The old Thoughtseize gain 4 life. Not bad. So if you're Scotty here, do you try to run that Elspeth up, or do you just think you're lucky stars that Brandon didn't attack into it?
I think you just ultimate here, and then you want a 2-turn clock. Like the thought there was just basically, do you have a Mizzing Orders? If not, I'm going to ultimate Elspeth. Lifelink my guys, gain 18 life.
Oh, okay. I was going to say, I can't believe he attacked with everything, but I forgot about the charm. So yeah, that makes attacking with house makes sense.
Yeah, it was. I think it was a very big misplay here to not.
Oh, we charmed. Yeah, like you said, the hidden mode.
Well, it's not so hidden. Just less likely to play.
I would say less than 5% of times this Azorius Charm is cast. It is for lifelink.
Yeah.
So this game effectively over. I mean, Brandon was going to struggle to do the 14 points of damage he needed to do to Scotty when Scotty stabilized, let alone now an additional 13 up to 27.
Yeah. He is not given up yet.
Yeah, he is. It's just
okay.
The stream hasn't caught up. Guys, I want to go ahead and apologize that several of you have mentioned in the chat. The video is very choppy. We actually got a late start because we tried to fix it once already. I don't know what the deal, the problem is exactly. It looks to be some kind of processor issue with the laptop because we did. It is fine when I'm not broadcasting, but once we actually broadcast to Twitch, it's dragging on, and I do not know why. But in between rounds, I will restart the machine, and we'll see if we can salvage it. But it's not even a state, which is like I don't know. We're not bankrupt. That's one thing about our state. We operate in a budget surplus.
Yes, we're actually more economically sound than more than half of this other states.
That is baffling, but it is 100% true. Like our state manages their money very well, whereas like all these nicer states to live in theoretically are like just think.
But our budget is much smaller than the average state. Well, not than the.
I did think it was funny, and we were of course ignoring the game because we do that often. But I did think it was interesting as we posted, in the aftermath. Posted both in the aftermath on the stream's Facebook page at facebook.com/ZachSellsMagic, as well as on the Affinity site, affinityforcards.com. Thanking everyone for coming out. We did have 87 players, which is, as we know, for a state event here in West Virginia, it's really good. It's a very good turnout.
Yes, it is.
Especially and multiple people specifically said only 87, and several of them said Ohio's had over 200.
Yes,
to which I put the 12 million people live in Ohio.
Yeah,
1.5 live in. So if we break down the ratio, we did pretty darn good.
1.9 million in West Virginia statewide.
Yes. Yeah, I was rounding it. They've got
they've obviously got a lot more population.
Columbus itself is one of the top 25 largest cities in the country. And that is your geography lesson. That's free, of course.
Yes. I mean, the only state we really compete with would be Rhode Island, and yet they would probably have a much higher turnout than the population of the state because it's so convenient to 6 or 7 other New England states.
I think the state with the lowest population is Wyoming.
It's the lowest population density.
Getting back to the game.
I'm not interested in this game, I'll be honest with you. Brandon had did nothing.
Brandon had a Burning Tree Emissary with nothing to follow it up with. Next play was Border Tracker. Scotty started off with 2 black-white lands, and still hasn't found a second blue source. So Brandon can safely play.
Yeah, he does have a... it looks like Brandon's just playing these Scry lands just for the Scry effect, and that really surprises me. Yes. I don't think that's good enough in this deck, is it?
Well, especially that many? Is he playing 8 or more?
More than 0 is too many.
More than 0 is too many?
Yeah. This whole deck is designed around a casting Burning Tree on turn 2. Yeah. And Fanatic on turn 4.
I can see the red-green one makes sense to me, but the red-blue one does not make sense.
The red-green one makes sense if you're splashing some green card out of the sideboard, in which case you probably need to play 4 shocks and 2 or 3 of the temples.
I'm just saying because that is not really. You can still play the Burning Tree on turn 2 with the red.
Did Scotty draw a card with that?
Yeah, drew instead of bouncing the Burning Tree Emissary, obviously indicating that he doesn't have a 4th land. Probably has a Supreme Break in hand. Mm-hmm. So obviously the better play would be to just try to dig for that 4th lane. He did find it, but it was unfortunately a temple, so he's going to take 4 more here. And that would probably just verdict.
And be dead to a variety of sequences beyond that. Well, he does have a Doomblade here.
And I know that Brandon has Storm Breath in his deck too, so it's going to be a very good follow-up for him.
Well, he's in a tricky spot here. We definitely need to verdict, but you would also like to be able to do that as well as leave up removal spell.
Well, surely that's not a 4 of Storm Breath, just a 1 or 2 of.
No, it's probably a 4 of. This is a deck that can create,
so he is actually playing bigger red than.
Yeah, he's playing mono red Devotion deck. He's got Nykthos in his deck.
Yeah, he doesn't have any block yet.
And Scotty leaving the Doomblade up here for potential Storm Breath or another haste creature. He's going to make it M6. Wow.
Well, if he doesn't have some kind of trip effect, he's probably just going to Doomblade.
So Scotty really only in this game because of Brandon's land heavy draw here. So there's a Banishing Light going to O-ring up the Burning Tree, and now Scotty can sit back on that Doomblade. And now he looks like a genius. There's a Doomblade to answer the Storm Breath.
Brandon still has 2 cards in hand, and Scotty has, I don't know.
Oh, this is horrible.
Scotty just passed his turn and did nothing.
Yeah, you can't find
Well, actually, I suppose it shouldn't surprise me. Really, the only play you expect him to make is a land drop. When there's nothing on the board, he doesn't have it.
Well, Scotty has a Sphinx's Rev in hand, too.
Yeah, I'm just saying he doesn't do anything at sorcery speed, so him passing the turn doesn't really...
There's a question about whether or not Scotty should be... who won game 1? Scotty did. Scotty has to be careful to play around Skullcrack with that... that Burning Earth is 100% getting... dissolved, as Scotty could not beat that to save his soul. He has one island.
One island, yes. He probably runs upwards of 3.
And there's a Fanatic that's going to get a Syncopate, so the perfect sequence for Scotty there. Counters both, takes no damage. Brandon down to 1 card in hand. No clock on board.
So that worked out that they both had the right amount of mana. Well, Brandon had 1 not enough mana.
Would you fire off the red for 2 there?
Yeah.
I would have, I think. I mean, I'm not good at Magic, but it seems like that's a play you might want to do.
Apparently he's doing it at sorcery speed.
No, he's just doing this in a turn.
Oh, okay. Yeah. The following turn, okay.
Yeah, but the 2 life is significant enough when you're at 6 that you might want to play around Skullcrack, I would think.
I don't think the Devotion decks are play Skullcrack.
I know he's playing it in the board because I saw him when he's playing against Vickers, but maybe Scotty's not playing around it.
I'm very sure Scotty's not even thinking about it.
I would assume that Scotty's not even thinking about it.
Personally, I've never seen a Devotion deck play Skullcrack. So
Yeah, that's fair. I don't know if I necessarily would have thought of it. I'm operating in this sequence where it's a given because I saw him cast it against Vickers, but you're right, it's not necessarily a common choice. Last Breath getting a perfect value there off of a Chandra's Phoenix with a delayed Jace trigger. Scotty only goes down to 7 here. He has an Elspeth in his hand, does he not?
He has a Scryland.
This is the point where I'm cheering for Scotty because if game 2 ends quickly, then I can restart my computer and pray that it comes back.
There's Elspeth.
Are you aggravated that the stream was choppy?
Yeah.
Was that not coming across clearly enough? You actually had to ask, just to be sure.
I'm just elbowing it now.
Our live is actually better than it was, but yeah,
Wouldn't you double block there? If you're going to block with 1, wouldn't you block with 2 and kill it? It's a 1/2.
He wants to build up more tokens, I suppose.
Yeah, I think that this is just a move to try to end the game, so he wants to keep as much tokens as he can.
So, the infamous 3 land split off Jace, but 2 of them are Scry lands, which are it's like drawing half a card.
Yes.
Scryland's very strong. I say this every time we stream, but when those were spoiled and people realized you weren't going to have,
I can get
buddy
on that. Like, this afternoon I tried to make the green font, the ramp font, work, and it just doesn't because there's Scry. Like, ramping or Farseek into Supreme Vertical Drag Touch used to be so good because all your buddy lands came into play untapped.
Yeah.
And your shot lands could come into play untapped. You just can't play a ramp strategy now because even if you do ramp, you're sometimes quote unquote a turn behind because you have to come into play that way.
Yeah, you're right. I mean, they're not good for every deck, but to be fair, after a mana base of Buddy Land, Shock Lands, and Farseek, like I think people are just spoiled by how good that.
Well, honestly, what happened
is it's fine here. Like, you're bringing a knife to a knife fight. But if you matched up these Skylands to the mana base last year...
Yeah, it's not close.
Well, basically what they
the mana base last year was the best mana base in Standard
yeah,
since the Zendikar block when you had fast lands, fetch lands, and man lands.
But they obviously went the direction of having creatures to ramp instead of Farseek or other effects.
Which is much more fair,
yeah, but there's a ton of creatures that cost 1 or 2 and for green and get you mana.
Well, more importantly, Brandon sticks a Storm Breath. This time it does get through, so Scotty's at 3. He's dead to a variety of cards out of Gibbs' deck here. Well, that's pretty good.
So he's no longer dead to Storm Breath, at least, itself.
So Scotty's doing some math here. He doesn't have a Mutavault. He only has 18 power if he ultimates Elspeth here. So he's deciding, does he play the long game or does he kill the Storm Breath outright? I think you have to take the Rev here, don't you?
Yeah, I think you take the Rev and minus the Elspeth to kill the dragon.
Yep. You take the Rev and you plus Elspeth to give your tokens they have flying now. Oh, but the Storm Breath has Pro Light. Yeah. Sorry.
And it also has... Brand can easily monstrous, so the Rev by itself doesn't
do anything.
Protect Scotty.
He can't monstrous right now.
Yeah, so this is his window. He has to. Yeah, and Scotty sees the line. He has to. If Scotty doesn't minus the Elspeth, he just loses the game.
Yeah, because whatever amount he rests for, he's going to take that much damage minus 1 or 2 the next turn.
And he found a Mutavault to play.
Yep. A little insurance Mutavault action. And then Scotty's going to go ahead and... I feel like this is during his upkeep. Nope, it doesn't matter. Scotty gets there.
There was instant scoop because he sphinxes for 6.
Alright guys, so for the 53 of you watching live, please stand by. I know most of you will go away. That's just the nature of the beast. But I am going to shut the stream down, restart my computer, see if I can put this issue to bed with the choppy video feed. So we should be back in about 5 to 10 minutes, so stay tuned and we will be back with 3 more rounds of Magic.